evening, everybody. So, second to last video for the year. Yay! It's getting close. I'm cutting it close. I could have been lazy and just not done it tonight. I almost didn't do it. I've had a terrible day. Alrighty, so this is next year's specifically witchy goals, and that is only because I have about 3 pages worth of non-witch related goals. We'll see how that turns out. I usually put it up on the corkboard that I have in my kitchen and just check it off as it gets done. And then consolidate the list and add more things. And by the end of the year, I still have way too many things to get done. So, this year, we're doing 15 things, and a lot of them are way more laid back and not necessarily so specific, maybe? Because I don't like to put the same goal on another list. Like, maybe not 2 years straight together like this, but if it was, say I put one thing on this list, skip a year, and then try it again. Because I've been putting publish a book on my to-do list for, what year is it going to be? 4 years now? Since I published my last book, and it just hasn't gotten done. So we're breaking that back down into get a short story written, draft a novel, like just scale this down a little bit. So a lot of the goals that I have this year are scaled down a little bit so I don't stress so much and maybe actually be more productive. Yes. All right, but this year as well, as I just mentioned, there'll be 15 instead of 10, so we'll see. All right, number 1 I have is yoga. It obviously makes me feel better when I do it. When I don't, I feel stiff and grumpy, kind of like now. And I've been doing some at work, but that gets awkward for everyone. And I wrote down in brackets, 1 time per day is optimal, but let's try for once a week. And we'll see where that takes us. Number 2, paint, paint, paint. So if you watch Molly Roberts at all, you will know she is a very art-centered witch, and I absolutely love it. Like, she messes so many things up with paint that's just ridiculously inspiring. She's like, see this thing that I got at the thrift store? We're gonna paint it. And you're like, well, it did turn out well. I didn't think it was gonna turn out that well. So, we're painting. That is like 20 minutes worth of a painting that I messed up with some black smears, and I had grand dreams for it, but it didn't turn out so well. Anyway, I used one of the canvases that I have now, so one of the goals is paint, and I know it doesn't sound like a witchy goal, but Molly Roberts incorporates a lot of art into her practice, and I really enjoy that. So I might just go back and binge watch all of her videos because she doesn't post very often, but her content is very quality, and I could probably listen to her talk for hours. It's also ridiculously calming. So, this doesn't even have to be on canvas. I can paint on myself. I can paint on things. Right now I'm painting an old PS2 controller that we had a bunch laying around, and it was one of the transparent ones that you can see through, and I'm like, we paid $5 for this. I'm just gonna paint it. So I started doing that, and I'm like, wait, I could paint other things. I can paint this PlayStation too, because it's kind of boring when it's gray. Another PlayStation came through work. They're not as rare as an original Nintendo. I'm not gonna paint that. Anyway, number 3, learn about medicine. I picked up a book just today that is not written specifically for witchcraft, but it is a book on herbal medicine. And I go, yes please. And I have several of them, as you know, and you've seen them in some of my hauls and favorites videos and whatnot, that I really do enjoy reading them, but it's easier if I own them because then I don't have to sit down and cram in 2 weeks because I can't read anymore. I used to be able to devour novels, like 600, 700 page novels in a day. And now, I struggle a lot. So I bought it. I don't have it with me. It's still in the car. But there is a lot of really good herbal stuff in there. So the more herbal books that I have, the better for me and everyone. So I'm actually making my yarrow tea. It's steeping right now. And I mixed in hibiscus and echinacea and some honey, and I'm really hoping that it'll turn out well. So number 4, full moons / new moons, and do a ritual for all of those. I'm kind of bad about forgetting, especially new moons, but full moons too. And I think it'll help me a lot if I get the white candle, the black candle, and actually do what I intended to do with them. Number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is do more spells. And this wasn't necessarily a thing that I had written down for last week, or last year, I guess. But I do want to do more spell work because that's one of the big things for witchcraft, quite honestly. And I don't do enough of them. I'm also really terrible at meditation, and never mind. I did write it down. Next one is music meditation, because I really suck at meditation. But my boyfriend got me a really cool singing bowl, and I've always wanted to do drum meditation. And I'm gonna try to do that, and maybe it'll help me if I do music too. Alright, ancestor work is the next goal. I did a little bit of that this year, but I want to keep doing it because I had been lighting the ancestor candle that I had delegated to, and it was kind of nice. Because when you think outside the scope of your blood ancestors, you're like, yeah, I could celebrate the witches who were my ancestors too. It doesn't have to be blood. It has to do with any type of heritage you want to include. So, alright, now I have to recount again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Number 8, make practicing fun. So when I first started out, everything was brand new and it was great and I was young. And now it can get a little boring. So I want to get back that get up and go and have at 'em kind of attitude for practicing. And to make everything really nice again. Like, not necessarily exciting. It doesn't have to be exciting. Just, yeah, make it fun, I guess. That's what I have written down. That's what I mean by that. I showed our D&D friends because they started to do tarot a little bit, and I was like, yes, I have an entire world of witchcraft I can introduce to you. And I got out my boyfriend's pendulum, which I usually don't play with because it's his, and I bought it for him, and it's really nice, and I probably should have bought it for myself because he never uses it. But I got out the pendulum, and I'm like, here you go, you want to try this? And I'm like, yeah, you just ask it questions and so. And when it actually started moving, they got a little freaked out. And they're like, the one of them is like holding it and the other one's just staring at me like, how does it do that? I'm like, see, it works. Look, it works. And at work, I'm kind of out to everybody because it came up in a conversation about religion, I guess, one time, and how I don't celebrate the same holidays and et cetera, et cetera. And one of the managers kind of outed me to another manager, which didn't know, and she's like talking about someone being a horrible person. She's like, oh, she's such a witch. And then the first manager was like, just like Lexi. And I'm like, what? What are you talking about? And then she's laughing. But as I did mention, I told her about the new moon, full moon stuff, and she quit smoking. So I was like, it works, doesn't it? Cue the dialogue between Jack Sparrow and the voodoo priestess lady. It's a job did. Yes. Okay, number 9. Do a ritual candle. As in make and then burn and use. I have those giant candles. There's 2 of them. I'll probably only use 1 for the time being. I only have it written down that I need to do 1. But I wanted to dedicate it to the ancestors because otherwise I won't burn those big candles. I'll just leave them sitting there and it'll be sad because they were like $2 each. So my plan is to do the carvings and everything and then incorporate some loose leaf tobacco because tobacco is a very strong herb to use for ancestor work. And then probably roses because I have some rose petals left over. and just do a really pretty, like, herb-crusted ritual candle. Number 10, create. And this goes in with the painting thing. My word of 2020 is create. And this means make. I have a really hard time anymore because I'm super depressed. But I have a really hard time thinking that there is a reason for anything, and then I'm like, yeah, I have all these art supplies, but they're just a waste of space, and it'll be a waste of my time if I make anything, and so I don't really do it a lot, unless I force myself to, and I'm like, well, this is actually fun, but other than that, I'm just like, what's the point of getting new supplies, because they'll just take up room, and then I'll be old, and I'll have to give them all away when I'm 77 years old, and somebody be like, that old lady gave us a bunch of half-empty paint bottles, and I have very dark paths of thought sometimes. But I really want to make things. And polymer clay. I made the little Hestia doll that I still don't think I showed. But her face and her arms burnt. But her face is made out of polymer clay. And then I made the rest with some fabric and some ribbon. And I glued on yarn strips for her bright red hair. I want to do more things like that. I also have a pentacle in my kitchen, hanging on the door. I want to just make so many things. Because I think that'll go back to the making practice fun again if I incorporate more of my hobbies into it. Alrighty, 15, number 11 is learn runes / divination in general. I know Christian over at Atlantean Alchemist is doing a rune miniseries, which I've been watching, which is awesome, because I bought the runes, and I haven't used them, I don't think, at all, since I got them and poured them out and looked at them and then put them back, and they've been sitting next to my crystal ball for months now. So, learn the runes, but also divination in general, because I picked up the pendulum again, and I'm like, oh, I could use this. And also because it's used in healing a lot of times, if you just go over a person's body and I don't know. Maybe that goes into the learn about medicine thing. I just want to do divination. I need to get another deck of tarot cards because the actual tarot cards are my boyfriend's. I have an oracle deck, and I don't really use his cards because I don't use his things very much. So I need to get myself a deck of tarot cards. Actually, I have one. Anyway, maybe I should get new shiny things to play with. Anyhow, number 11, 12, 13, 14, number 12. More domestic time, more making tea, more cleaning house, more vacuuming, calming down, working with Hestia, more wearing my head covering, more cleansing the house. I had a really bad dream the other night that there was a giant black tornado spirit caught in my bathtub, and it was screaming, and then suddenly I was screaming, but no voice was coming out, and I was trying to smudge in there, just air cleanse the whole place, and nothing was happening, and it was too strong, and I was terrified. So, yes, I need to do some cleansing, and probably some house blessing, and probably a lot of things. So, okay. 13, spend more time with deity, because I was super deity-centered, probably this time last year, about, and then it kind of trickled off, so I want to do more than light a candle on a Sabbath for deity. I need to do deity meditations, I need to do more deity offerings, more just conversations, really, and I know that they know that I'm at work all the time, super busy. It's not that I forget about them, I just forget to. Sometimes I forget to eat lunch. Like today. I ate 3 goldfish crackers. And half a piece of pineapple. Alright, number 14. Make more magic moments. And this is kind of against my Virgo nature, as we talked about. More spur-of-the-moment things. More, hey, it's a sunset outside. Why don't I go out and something, something, something. More, let's impulse buy this giant candle that reminds me exactly of Hades. More just Small impulsive things that I want to do, and before the depression sets in and tells me, no, what's the point of that? This is not logical. Why would you? Yeah. More of that. And number 15 is journal spiritually, which we know how the journaling went last year, but I actually have one that my mother sent me that is pretty, and it has flowers, and then I also have that leather-bound book, so I have plenty of books and plenty of space to write and just do maybe the writing conversation thing that I totally don't remember the name of now. Automatic writing? Kind of. Where you're having a conversation and you write down the question and then see what answers, I guess. And then you can write their answers if you want. I don't know. I've done some of that, but I also do need to keep track of when I cleanse the house, the dates that I've gathered my wildcrafting equipment, and plants, days of planting. So be more and less like a Virgo all at once. Categorize, make plans, look at cycles, write things down, but also just be spur of the moment and have fun. All right, so there are my goals set in hypothetical stone for the year of 2020. Up and at 'em, kids. I hope everyone has a very satisfying list of accomplishments that they hope to achieve in the coming year. Sounds like a good number. It's a round, even number with twos. It's a whole number, can be divided. It's a good year. We'll see. Or it could be a dumpster fire like 2016. That's a big possibility too. Anyway, have a wonderful night, everyone!